Well, welcome everybody. I'm pleased to have you all here today and thank you for coming. Today we are going to be rededicating the California Newspapers Hall of Fame here at Cal Poly. This is a tribute to the illustrious publishers, newspaper people from our past and present, some courageous heroes, some crusaders, and a couple of scoundrels here and there. We have a very colorful past, and anybody who's spent any time in the newspaper business knows that there are some very powerful, colorful, and entertaining characters that have led newspapers over the past several decades and centuries, and many of them are represented here in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was first brought to Cal Poly in 1989 when it was housed out in the hallway with a number of plaques to the different honorees that are named to this Hall of Fame every year. And as the Hall of Fame grew and the plaques grew and outgrew the space we had available for them, we wanted to bring a more fresh approach to the Hall of Fame display here at Cal Poly. And so a number of students have been working over the past couple of years to put together a digital display of the Hall of Fame, which is going to be housed here in our newsroom for Mustang News, and we're really pleased about that. So we have a few people here I'm going to introduce to you just in a second to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame, give you some history, and we're really pleased to have them. First, I'm going to introduce the Executive Director of the California Newspaper Publishers Association and the President of the California Press Foundation, Tom Newton, who will say words in a few minutes. And then I'm going to introduce Dick Blankenberg, the retired publisher of the Five Cities Times Press Recorder, and who was instrumental in bringing the Hall of Fame here to Cal Poly in 1989 and was here for the dedication then too. So Dick, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for hosting this dedication again. This is kind of strange stuff, looking at it, because I'm not used to them. Pounding on a typewriter and something like that is more familiar to me. But I'm happy to have a real close connection with Cal Poly here. My daughter over here, Cindy, graduated from here, and she is part of the family that owned and produced the Five Cities Times Press Recorder and Adobe Press in Nipomo. So we got the southern end of the county covered. I grew up in the newspaper business with my folks and came up here from the city of Chino, farm community southeast of LA. I got a scholarship from the high school there and went to USC. And after going through that and taking journalism in that department, came up here. We bought the paper. My parents were traveling newspaper people. They came out from well, not northeast, but out in the plains area. They both wanted to be in the newspaper business, so they learned to run a linotype, met and married in South Dakota, and then it started west, winding up in Eugene, Oregon. Not in Eugene, but near Eugene. I was born in Medford, Oregon, and then we came down into California and worked on small newspapers all our lives. I'm really happy to be here today representing our family and representing the Central Coast here. It's a good partnership between CNPA and a university like this one, and we're glad to see it's bigger and better than we ever imagined it could be. And you're now in the digital field, which is completely foreign to most of us as retired publishers. there are so many people that we honored in the Hall of Fame that I can't even begin to read the list. Wouldn't want to bore you with all that. But we had some very colorful people, and they all had strong convictions in what news is and what newspapers should do. And they were always for years and years and years dedicated to reporting all the news that happened in their community or throughout the country, especially the West. How many plaques do we have, or did we have up here? Probably
about 57 or 8.
No, I thought it was more 100, like 100.
Well, it's more than that, but just for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
Many
I know
more than that.
we had, the hallways were filled, as I recall.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell about any of the famous people we had on the
I'm
wall
not
there?
prepared to do that.
I'm not either.
I think that was a good description. Some some visionaries and some scoundrels in between.
Okay, I guess that's all I have to say. I want to thank you, the police department, and the Cal Poly leaders for partnering with us and helping us display careers in journalism. And you have a super reputation of turning out good people in that field. We'll keep doing it. Mary? Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Dick, and thanks for those words. My name is Tom Newton. I am the Executive Director of the California Newspaper Publishers Association and the California Press Foundation, which has only been the California Press Foundation for 2 years. Before that, it was the California Press Association, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. Very happy to be here today to dedicate this new iteration of the display that's been here for so long. When the Hall of Fame was first established, my understanding is that the plaques and the images were put up on the walls of the state capitol, and I am assuming, but I don't know, that they got pushed out when the state capitol was completely earthquake retrofitted and created as a museum in the 80s, and that's essentially when I started working there a long time ago as a young staffer. I would note also that the Cal Press Association, now Foundation, had its 138th annual winter meeting in San Francisco, always on the first Friday of December, always in San Francisco. This time it was at the Marines Memorial Hotel, which has housed that event for the last several years, and it's a tremendous event. At that event, during a lunch and a dinner, the gathered members of the Cal Press honor the latest version of those who have been chosen as Hall of Fame or award winners, and Justice Kramer, a Newspaper Executives of the Year, and several other awards. And it's a tremendous event. Membership in Cal Press is open to anybody really who has any affinity at all for the newspaper industry. And so if you're not a member, please take a look at the website. It's inexpensive, it's collegial, and we certainly would appreciate if you take a good look at that. You know, you have to wonder about any institution that has been in existence continuously for 138 years. That's a long time. And I'd have to say that the Robert Maynard, if you take a look at the attributes of the folks that are behind us now, you're probably going to find a lot of the attributes that it's going to take for journalism students to succeed going forward. Grit, determination, being a little bit courageous, having some vision, being curious, and otherwise being able to fend off the haters. I would take a look at that to see, look for clues for what it will take for you to be successful going forward. To say a couple of words about the industry, I just want you to all know that the California Newspaper Publishers Association's membership is at an all-time high. So all the people that have said, hey, newspapers are going away, it's simply not true. We have more newspaper members in CNPA than we've ever had before. We think that there's an incredibly bright future for journalism. The audiences for newspapers are bigger than they ever have been. People are just getting their information in many, many different ways, and we're continuing trying to figure out how to monetize that. But bear with us, work hard, and we're looking forward to a bright future. I just want to thank Mary and all the students that were involved in putting this together. I think it's a tremendously beautiful. Harry Casey was a tremendous friend of the industries, a past president of CNPA, and a good friend of Dick's and mine a long time ago. This is really a delightful to be here, and I just want to say thanks to Bruce Ray from the Tribune for coming, Cynthia Schur, Santa Maria Times, hopefully we'll be here for lunch, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of the California Press Association and its chairman, Becky Clark, thanks very much for putting this on today, for having us.
Great, thank you all for coming. I think that concludes our presentation, and the display here on the top center screen will be on a continuous loop throughout the day for people who come into the newsroom and for tours who come through. We'll be putting it on a script for the people who lead tours for prospective students to let them know about the adventures of some of the people that are represented there. And we're really pleased to have this association with CNPA going forward, and hopefully the Hall of Fame will continue to grow and be housed here at Cal Poly. Thank you all.